Welcome back to Albertsons Radio Row. Post game here in the Thomas and Mack Center, where UNLV has defeated UNM 99-78. A game that was tight throughout until the Rebels took control late and surged to the tape. Final score: UNLV 99, New Mexico 78. Take the fast internet to the house with Xfinity X5. Stream the Lobos all season long on every in-home device, no matter where you watch. It's beyond Wi-Fi. It's X5. Xfinity, proud partner of the University of New Mexico Lobos. Robert Portnoy with Lobo legend Hunter Green. And Hunter, it did appear that the Lobos were very game today. The effort, the intensity, even the execution of the newly installed matchup zone was effective through much of the first half. They did, after scoring 12 points in a row, recall, early in the game. They were down 3-0, scored 12 in a row to go up 12-3. A Rebel run of 9 points at the end of the first half was their first real defensive lapse of the game, and it was still very much a basketball game at halftime, 43-40 in favor of the Rebels. And it was still a single-digit game for much of the second half. But you were the first to point it out, the fact that reserves Keith McGee and Tavian Percy, who had played in the first half, did not see any court time in the second half, and limited minutes for Emmanuel Quach. In the end, he played just over 12 minutes, but you felt like the Lobos starters just kind of wore down there in the latter stage of the second half.
Yeah, no question. Listen, the first half, they competed. The second half, UNLV and their coaching staff made adjustments. And it was apparent. You could see it. They were attacking the rim. They were bringing the ball into the rim and taking it to the Lobos. We didn't have an answer. At that point is when we really struggled to compete in the second half. And then, of course, looking back on the bench and say, okay, well, who else can we put in? Is there anything else we could try? Or is there any? How can we adjust in order to compete? And I think that was what was apparent to me here in the second half, is that we did not compete. We actually we quit. We actually quit playing towards the end of the game.
All right, back here at the Thomas
Period.
and Mack on the Runner Rebel Wrap-Up Show.
To your point about UNLV getting to the basket, the points in the paint battle, at halftime it was 20-14. Rebels had an advantage of 6 points in that column at halftime. When it was finished, points in the paint, Rebels 58, Lobos 28. That means they
didn't look for the three ball like they did early in the first half. Second half, they came out and they just dribble drive to the rim and dared the Lobos to foul them, try to get them in foul trouble, and it worked for them. We didn't have an answer for them.
Check the back of every season ticket for a great deal at your local Arby's. Bring your coupon on your Lobo season ticket into any Arby's store. Take advantage of this incredible offer, exclusive to Lobo season ticket holders. Arby's, we have the meats. Marvin Coleman, one of the stars of the game for UNLV tonight, with a triple-double. He finished up this contest with an 11-point, 11 his first one since 99 for the Rebels.
Wow.
Coach, we talked about Coleman and how well he's distributed the ball, and their first-year head coach has said that, even though he didn't start at that position, T.J. Otzelberger has said that Coleman has been so good as the starting point guard since the graduate transfer, who had been playing that position and been doing it very well, but since Elijah Mitru Long went out with the broken thumb on his hand and Coleman's taken over at the point guard position, they've run with it, and he thinks that he's going to be the point guard for the remainder of the season, and he showed why here today.
Well, he's kind of their glue guy. I mean, he does it all. He was crashing the boards. He was distributing the ball and getting in the painted area, getting to the free throw line.
And then you had the 35-point effort by Hamilton. And now, that's a very good basketball player, and he's going to have games like that. But I am shocked to learn that his career best prior to today was just 22.
Wow.
And he eclipsed that comfortably. In fact, 21. It was against Fresno State in their first conference game back at the start of December. So he is really coming on. And I mentioned 6 consecutive double-digit scoring games for him, over 18 in conference play. Lobos didn't have an answer for Hamilton tonight.
No. And credit to the Rebels. I mean, these guys are on a roll. They've figured it out, and they play well. They followed instructions. You could see at halftime how they adjusted, and they actually executed the game plan here in the second half, and that was getting to the rim and scoring the bucket there, and then defending. I mean, Corey Manigault, where was he? They defended him and shut him out, and didn't get any points in the paint from Corey to speak of. I mean, it was defense all the way for running Rebels.
Yeah, they were able to make an adjustment on him after scoring 15 in the first half. He finished up with just 19 total, only 4 in the second half after that tremendous first half when it looked like he might be headed for a career night. Something we talked about in our pregame, Hunter, I want to circle back to. Talking with Lobos staff, and you talk to coaches, and scoring is definitely important. You've got to score more than the other team. But the idea that, yes, the Lobos had lost what we guesstimated in the neighborhood of 35 points or so per game based on season averages, not necessarily recent play, but season averages, without having Carlton Bragg, J.J. Caldwell, and Vance Jackson here today. But the Lobos were, able to make up the points here tonight. They averaged 80 for the season. They scored 78. But you said it. It's going to come down to the defense. Yeah. And the coaches said, again, can we defend? And they defended pretty well, maybe, say, 25, 30 minutes, and it got away from them midpoint of the second half.
Midpoint in the second half, exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, you go to Fort Collins, you give up, you lose by 33 points, and then you come here and you lose by 21, 54 points in total on the road, and you gave up, 204 points total? I mean, that's a lot of points. Where's the defense? And so they tried to make an adjustment. It worked in the first half, although they were trailing by 3. Once UNLV made the adjustment, New Mexico had no answer defensively.
We take time out. Rebels 99, Lobos 78 final. Postgame continues after this. Lobo basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Kate.
New Year's resolutions are...
Lobo head coach Paul Weir is with us. Coach Weir, we thought your defense defended well in the first half, save for maybe a late run at the end of the first half. What did you feel was the difference in the second half as UNLV got control of the game?
Probably a few things. One, I thought, or a couple of things. I thought one in the first half to just come out with a 3-point deficit. I thought we played pretty well, and to go in at halftime down 3, that needed to be 8-10. We just didn't finish the half well and rebound the ball well. And I think the shots we made, the shots they missed in the first half should have given us an 8 to 12 point lead. Their rebounding kept them in it, kept them closer really than it should have been with the start we had, and then obviously didn't finish that. We went to some subs, and unfortunately it just was an immediate dive. We got the subs back out, went back to our guys and tried to rally, but it was just too late. I didn't feel good about that at half. To be down 3 at half was a little worrisome for me. Second half, I thought we hung around till about the 8-minute mark-ish, maybe a little bit sooner. There were some runs here and there, and I think unfortunately we just ran out of gas, and it sucks. I wish I could chalk it up to a lot more than that. But their bench to bring someone like Hamilton off the bench to just have the depth that they have, they were coming in waves, they were subbing, they were offense, they were defense, and I think unfortunately our guys just kind of wore down. I mean, to go, I think 3 first-half turnovers and 12 second-half turnovers, I think is more of a sign of just the fatigue of things setting in. And you got to give UNLV credit. They played really fast. They played undersized. They knew there were depth issues. That was the smallest lineup I've seen them play in a while, and they just pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and just wore us down over the course of the game. And I think it showed up in particular in the last 5 to 8 minutes or so.
Coach, I thought you guys really competed in the first half, at least the 3 quarters of the first half. At least 15 minutes of the first half. And then UNLV made an adjustment at halftime. And they made a decision that they're going to dribble drive you right to the basket. What was your game plan to fight?
Yeah, no, obviously first half Antonio was really hurting us, and they were kind of spreading the floor with him. And
he shot a lot of them. He was 4 of 10. But
he was. So we were kind of going into it thinking, let's put a game plan together for Antonio. They went away from that, and I thought Hamilton was terrific, and we had different guys matched up on them. I mean, we had our better defenders, McQuatch, different players that we like, and quite frankly, we just couldn't guard them one-on-one, and we haven't necessarily brought double teams at anybody this year or done anything like that. I was hopeful that we have enough good individual perimeter defenders between him and Vontae and whoever that we could stop them, but unfortunately we just couldn't. And those guys were quicker than we were and really were able to kind of break us down off the bounce, in particular Hamilton. I mean, he was exceptional.
Especially against the matchup zone. They found the gaps, I think, in the second half. And did you think about maybe going to man-to-man at that point?
We did. I mean, I think midway through the second half, we played man probably three-quarters of the way, the last 10 minutes or so, and then we sprinkled in a little bit of zone when Antonio was out. We unfortunately just couldn't. Anytime we did get a stop, unfortunately, it was a second shot. And we got a second shot stop, it was a third shot. And I just think, I told Rob before the game, they've been plus 20 on the glass their last two games. We couldn't afford to let it get there, and we did. That second and third shot defense, we just don't have enough length around the rim to stop anything. And then towards those last few minutes, obviously didn't even get to that.
On a day where you guys shoot the three ball pretty well and get that, what about the way Corey Manigault was able to perform for you on the interior in the first half, and then whatever adjustments they might have made to slow him down in the second? I think just 4 second-half points.
Yeah, we were trying to get we just couldn't get it to him. The guard pressure on the perimeter, our guards just very rarely felt comfortable enough to kind of get down there. We had several drops to try and get him the ball, but we had one in the first half. We lobbed it over the top to him, and we did some things, but unfortunately, just getting that guard play to be strong enough with the ball to get down there and get it where it needs to be, it was a challenge. And I thought UNLV's aggressive perimeter defense just took us out of a good offensive rhythm with, the guards we have now, which is Zane and Jaquan. They just really couldn't quite get comfortable just being able to enter the ball in offense.
Is that why Corey couldn't get any looks?
That's what we're talking about, yeah. I mean, it was just hard. I mean, we had a lot of things drawn up for him to get him the ball, but just those guards just got swarmed on the perimeter and unfortunately just couldn't get to the spots on the floor they needed to get him the ball.
You talked about the fact that they were able to use their 7 main guys and spread out their minutes, and they were subbing a lot and keeping them all fresh. And your 5 starters, the fewest minutes, I think 31 for Zane. Yes, when the bench was in the first half, things didn't go as well. But how do you weigh that? You know that your guys are going to be playing heavy minutes. You want to get them to the tape, but you know that maybe the bench. Did you give them another shot? How did you guys decide?
No, yeah, it's hard. I mean, ideally going in, the plan was to play some zone, which we thought would slow them down, and then offensively slow down a little bit. But they just did such a good job of keeping that pace up and pushing the ball and making us run and just speeding up the flow of the game. And unfortunately, sometimes those turnovers are the worst thing for us because now we're trying to go and attack in places where we need to slow the ball down. And the game plan going in was really just slow it down and play some zone and try and get the ball inside and just kind of play a low possession game. But we couldn't get it there no matter how hard we seemed to try. I thought UNLV's speed, particularly in the backcourt, just sped us up to a point we couldn't get the game ever at the rhythm that we wanted.
Perhaps you don't have information here, but maybe you can. Lobo fans, certainly everyone's wondering about Vance Jackson. Is there, from what you've gathered, maybe from Vance or doctors and any conversations you've had, could it be 3 days from now that he's well enough to perhaps see the court on Tuesday, or we don't know yet?
I would say doubtful, but you just don't know. I mean, there's a lot of swelling. It's a bruise. You just don't know. And we would never want to put him in harm's way in any way for his long-term career. Whenever that day happens to come, we'll have him. In the meantime, we just have to work with the guys that we have.
All right, a chance to avenge a loss against San Jose State when you get back home next week. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
Weir.
guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir, our guest. We pause for a final time post-game. New Mexico falls 99-78 to the UNLV Rebels. You've been listening to Lobo Basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network. Back after this. 99, New Mexico 78 is the final. It's a big night for Albuquerque area fighters. Two of the best to fight out of Albuquerque are here. and they'll be at the T-Mobile, and they'll be doing their thing shortly. Donald Cowboy Cerrone, with a chance to take down a UFC icon as he faces Conor McGregor, and, of course, Albuquerque's own champion Holly Holm with a big fight against Raquel Pennington. So those are going on nearby. I was thinking back to November 15, 2015, when Holly in Australia beat Ronda Rousey and the Lobos upset Boise State. Could the Mexico Lobo basketball team kind of do what the football team did that November and beat UNLV here in the Thomas and Mack, and then maybe Holly and Cowboy get wins next door, but not going to be.
Yeah, Holly may hold up her end, but the Lobos weren't able to do it here this afternoon.
It's a rematch with a woman whom she defeated by split decision the first time that they fought. This was a pretty good bout, if you will, for maybe about 30 minutes, and then UNLV's strength and depth and speed, as Coach Weir said, won out, and the Rebels were able to extend the lead and coast to the line.
Yeah, I mean, how do you recover? How do you overcome these losses? I mean, they're not just 5-point losses, 10-point losses, but they're major beatdowns. And like you said, I thought New Mexico played for 3/4 of the game, competed, and then of course, was it fatigue, or was it the coaching? In terms of UNLV staff being able to adjust and turn it around. I mean, I thought they did a great job in the second half, taking Corey Manigault out of the game. I mean, he only scored 4 points in the second half, and then getting to the rim and scoring a high percentage at the rim, and getting away from shooting jump shots. Credit UNLV coaching staff. I mean, they made those adjustments, and it paid off here in the second half.
Corey Manigault finished with his second double-double of the year with 19 points and 11 rebounds. Corey Manigault is the subject of our Toyota drive of the game. Toyota, let's go places. Now Vontae Hendricks catches high left. Left wing, he finds Malawatch. Beautiful post.
Nice.
Anthony McQuatch finds Manigault, and Manigault lays it in. Manigault with 15. Corey Manigault, 15 first-half points. It was 40-34 at that time, and it ended up being 43-40 UNM at the break. That bucket put the Lobos up by 6. The Rebels closed the first half on a 9-0 run.
I'm still reflecting on this, how this finished, because I thought, fatigue or not, we just quit, in the final minutes of the game, and I just don't have anything to say that's positive about that. I mean, I just, as a competitor myself, I just think you gotta, you call a timeout and you get the guys in and you adjust to where at least you try to, take away what they're trying to do, and they're just dribble drive. I mean, there was just dunk after dunk and layup after layup here in the closing minutes, and I think that's the part that's hard to swallow. And I mean, I'm getting a couple of texts, and I get a text. The guy says, "I tuned in the second half." Well, we didn't look good in the second half. So I mean, his impression of the team right now is, have they given up?
Well, the opponent, San Jose State, eminently beatable in Albuquerque Tuesday night. Circle the wagons, get ready for that game, and a chance to avenge a defeat in San Jose a short while ago.
No question.
Elsewhere in the Mountain West, Colorado State 78, Air Force 65 final. Wyoming fell at home, Fresno State 65, Wyoming Cowboys 50. San Diego State and Nevada are playing at Viejas in San Diego, 20-20 tie in the first half, and Utah State is at Boise State a bit later. That's going to do it for us. For my broadcast producer and engineer, Mike Vitale, my broadcast partner, Hunter Green, I'm Robert Portnoy. The Lobos, with the loss here, fall to 15-5. And New Mexico has dropped consecutive games for the first time this season. They are 4-3 in Mountain West play. Till Tuesday night in Albuquerque when the Lobos host San Jose State. 7:30 broadcast time, 8 o'clock tip. Those are Mountain times, pregame and tip time. San Jose State and UNM. From Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit, on January 21st. That's a Tuesday. I'm Robert Portnoy. So long. The Lobos fall to UNLV, 99-78. You've been listening to Lobo Basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network.